Greetings, compadres. It is I, Jamie, with whom you are in rendezvous communion. So we're going to begin with a bit of music. Today's episode is basically me trying to blow your mind several times in quick succession. So, I don't really know what I'm going to say. I know, I think three things I thought of when I was like, is that a crazy idea? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I'm just going to put out things based upon reality, basically. But just ways of thinking about things which might be like, whoa, interesting, hopefully. So a bit of music. Very well. Um, let's see. Well, what about this? We'll start from the beginning. Was the universe always here? Like, think about the Big Bang, right? Oh, there was nothing. And then suddenly, literally the whole universe suddenly appeared and it was occupying less than the space of a pin, the tip of a pin. And then it expanded outwards. So there's an explosion. It's like, oh, Star Wars is so unrealistic. You can't have explosions in space. Well, except the Big Bang, of course. It's like, wait, what? It violates the laws of conservation of, basic law of physics, conservation of energy. That energy can't be created or destroyed, only transformed. Like it can change form. So you can have light, but what you're doing is you're taking, say, you're burning something to create heat, and then you're using that maybe to create some energy, like it powers some sort of, device, whatever, and creates an electrical current, and that goes through your light bulb, and I think it goes through like a very, basically a very inefficient little wire, therefore it glows really bright. Basically it's wasting, so to speak, its energy as in light. But basically that's just transforming, right? It's not like coming out of nowhere. It's just, and except the Big Bang, it's like, oh yeah, the whole universe full of energy. You can't get energy out of nowhere unless you're talking about all the energy, the whole universe of energy. Oh yeah, then that's fine. Yeah. Now, what day did the Big Bang happen on? If we rewind the clock, okay, so today's Thursday as I'm recording this. I guess it might be Friday in Australia already. What time is it? 2:45. Yeah, at least in the East Coast, I guess that's the new day. So, but let's call it a Thursday, right? So how many days, how many 24-hour periods ago is the 14.6 billion? So, let's say it's a Tuesday. All right, the Big Bang happened on a Tuesday. Why not a Monday? Why not a Wednesday? Why exactly in that period? What caused it to happen? Nothing? Well, that makes a lot of sense. That's the theory, huh? It just happened, no reason. It's like, people who believe in God, the universe, someone created the universe. How ridiculous. Oh yeah, what's your theory? Oh, it just got created on a Tuesday for no reason. Like, okay, well, I don't know. I haven't seen a man with a beard in the sky, although I have sensed myself as an infinite oneness, or at least a part thereof, and therefore the same as the whole thing. In a way, it's a bit of a mystery, but yeah. So, okay, blowing your mind here. If anyone interested in meditation, spirituality, this is something I did possibly under the influence of certain delicious Nutella snacks, which may have had dried flowers baked into them, improving my ability to sense such things. But if anyone wants to Google firecrackers, enjoy. It's good fun. And within reason, responsibly, will be good for your soul and your life and everyone around you thereby. So basically, I was under the influence here, and I was sitting there, and there's this meditation thing, and the guide, who was Eckhart Tolle in this case, was reading a quote. He's like, all right, so he reads a quote: "Be still and know that I am God." And he's not saying that he's God. Well, he is, but he's saying everyone's God. But it's kind of one of those little phrases where it's kind of like glitch in the matrix, like it just breaks the language, because basically it's using I to mean you, and the listener and the speaker. It's dissolving that boundary. So, but if you close your eyes, and this is what my experience, and you could try this. It's like be still and know that I am God. I was like, still, like just be there. Don't think. Don't do anything. Just. And I had this sense of like the whole universe was like, there was just no division. So there's no difference between me and the room around me. I was in everything, and everything was in me. I was no one and everyone, nothing and everything. And I think that's actually the ultimate truth. Like, it's true to say, here I am, I'm Jamie, all right. You are not talking, you dear listener or viewer, are not talking smack into the microphone like I am. But in a way, that's true, fair enough. But on a deeper level or a higher level, it's actually wrong. You are talking through me. We're all the same. Anyway, so have fun with that. So yeah, Big Bang just appeared out of nowhere. All right, that's interesting. And explosions in space, but that's not possible. Okay, so just, all right, fine. We'll just give that, like Terence McKenna had this hilarious quote where like science, or like, materialist science, which has a bunch of assumptions built into it. Rupert Sheldrake does a great job of pointing that out in the 10 Dogmas of Modern Science, good TED talk, where he goes into things which there's some evidence for, or at least it's possible. But I think all of them, there's some evidence for it. And yet science pretends it's ridiculous and that there's no evidence, because science, materialist modern science, not the scientific method itself, not science in the pure sense, but scientists and the scientific establishment and the main consensus, there are unexamined prejudices built into it. And so, for example, telepathy, that's crazy. That's like mumbo jumbo. Oh, but what about all this evidence from these, properly done studies? Well, that's not possible. It is. Look, I'm not going to read that. Like, are you a scientist? You have to read it. No, but it's not real. Like, it's just there. Just read it. But they won't, because there's an unexamined bias there, which is exactly what religious people were criticized for at the dawning of the modern scientific kind of project. So it's kind of funny how it's gone full circle there. But anyway, so Terence McKenna's quote there is, science, or materialist science, says, "Give me one miracle and I'll explain everything." So like just the Big Bang, let's just don't think about it. Just let it, just accept that. And then everything else I can explain logically, you know, with evidence, evidentiarily. Would you say? Yeah, with evidence, we'll go with that. So, okay, what else? What else have we got? What about you hear my words, but what's actually going on is I'm making noises in my throat, and then those are rippling through the air and causing mechanical waves where like one particle gets bumped into the next, which gets bumped into the next, kind of like pool balls or billiard balls, like snooker balls, right? Bouncing one into the other. And then these huge waves of these such, pulses of movement and kinetic energy through the air, through the particles of this gaseous soup within which I'm swimming here, that these then goes into the microphone and is turned into ones and zeros and recorded as code. And then when you turn your computer on or your phone and you listen to this or you watch this, your computer is decoding. You press the button and it initiates a sequence of events where the device decodes the message that I've put in there just for you, the little message I've left you, and then it creates these pulses of energy designed to simulate the human vocal cords, and you hear not even my voice, but a distorted version of it, but it's pretty close, and that travels through space, and that enters your ears, right? Just goes bouncing, ricocheting down your eardrums, or your ear canals, and through the eardrum into the brain, and just gets decoded again into what seems to be the sound, like a real, what seems to be exactly if someone was, well, I guess it's it seems like, oh, that's just someone talking, but that's your brain is processing these, a code that was come through the air, right? And turning it into, oh, this is, and reconstructing that in your consciousness, right? In your mind. And then, okay, that's what was said, and then this is what it means. And if you need to know the language, you need to have the internal dictionary to be able to decode that and understand. And maybe some words you're like, what does he mean by that? Or alternatively, I don't know, but Rupert Sheldrake, I think, has some pretty trippy points about how saying like that maybe it doesn't work like that actually. Like, and he says, I don't know if this is his question or someone else, but I think it was the name of a paper by someone else. Like, was it him? Is the skull beyond the sky? Something like that. Like when you look up at the sky, is that inside your head? Like what I was just saying there, that traditional kind of view, I guess, which I was just taking for granted there, this is all inside your head. This is a reconstruction. It's not really reality. When you look around and that's a reconstruction inside your mind, in your brain, right? Or your mind. But then when you look at the sky, the infinite sky, this is all within your skull, is it? Your skull's, you got a huge head, man. How do you buy hats? That's incredible. Must be tricky. But I guess everyone else has these huge infinite skulls bobbing around. And what, are we bumping into each other? Where are we exactly if we have these heads the size of heavens that can fit these skies in them and we're bumping around into each other? Or is it that we're sharing space and the sky and you and me and our heads, our brains, our skulls, our ears, our whole bodies, everything, the couch behind me, whatever, the guitar, Claire, everyone and everything is actually within a single mind, a single consciousness called, drumroll, the universe. And that the universe is consciousness and everything is actually being processed. So within that space. And so when you hear, and if that's true, then when you hear my voice sailing gallantly down your ear canals into your brain, that this is actually much more, how would that work? That would be kind of more direct though, right? So there's actually a sound that's coming through. And I guess that's consciousness taking a form. So consciousness, if that's everything, then I speak, and that's consciousness coming into a form, an energy form, but all energy being consciousness, right? Consciousness, and it's going forth and going through the consciousness structure, which is your body, this, energetic, matter being a condensation of energy, it seems, these forms, that the voice, this energy that I've put forth, this form that consciousness has taken, goes forth through the space, which is also consciousness, everything is, but let's just call it space for now, goes through into your body, let's call it your body for now, and it goes into your brain, and then it registers through certain processes there, and the consciousness which you are, or the space of your individuated consciousness, is able to connect with that message. I'm way out of my depth. I don't know how this works, but I'm blowing my own mind. That's a success, I would say, for me. So it feels good, man. What else can we do here? All right. Blowing the mind, eh? All right, well, I guess we could talk about the placebo effect and magic. So, people are like, oh, magic, what are you, 5 years old? But, like gold standard, the highest quality scientific evidence comes from basically, and the scientific method being like, okay, you have an idea, but we can't just assume that it's true just because someone says it's true, right? I am science, says some fool. But, no. The scientific method is you come up with a hypothesis, an idea, and then you test it. You find a way to test it. And so, I think, gravity affects everything the same. So if it's light or heavy, it doesn't actually matter. Everything is going to fall at the same speed. All right, let's do an experiment. Let's go from Leaning Tower of Pisa, and we'll drop, a cannonball and drop something. What do you do? Much smaller, right? Stone or whatever it was, and they both hit the ground at the same time. Okay, so that's an experiment. Then someone else can go, I think he probably wasn't doing that honestly. I'm going to do that for my tower over here in, Bucharest, Romania or something, and then you do it, and same thing. Everyone does that, and they confirm, so it's replicatable. A bunch of people replicate it in a decentralized system, and we go, all right, that's it. That seems to be true. So, and then, or you go, apparently when you give Jamie, bars of gold, you get good luck. I did a study. And then someone else, gives me some gold, and then they don't get any good luck. And they're like, hey, give me that gold back. And then thus, it's disproved. You can't replicate the experiment. So, but using the highest version of that is basically double-blind, placebo-controlled studies. So, and in fact, meta-analyses of those. But so basically, double-blind means, say you go, okay, we've got a drug, we want to know if it does anything. If we just give half the people, if we just give everyone the drug, it's very likely there's going to be a significant benefit. And you might go, oh yeah, wow, okay, great, it works. But then you need to check, like, okay, there's a thing called the placebo effect, which is where you can give someone, if someone thinks that if you're giving them medicine, they will actually get healthier, even if it's a sugar pill. And the reverse is true, the nocebo effect. If you tell them, for example, you're very weak, your immune system's bad, you have to stay indoors, you can't go outside, there's a big virus that's going to come munch you up, people's immune systems will get suppressed and make trillions of dollars for some gangsters. So the nocebo effect, which is why it's good if you're getting sick, say the body is strong. Just say that to yourself. And subconsciously you can program yourself to, maybe you'll still get sick, but you're giving yourself the best chance, a fighting chance. You go maximize the ability of your immune system by aligning your mind, your psychology with your biology. Going, okay, I'll get the best I can by having faith. So anyway, the double blind meaning placebo controlled. So placebo controlled means you have, okay, let's give half the people a sugar pill, the other half will give the actual, drug we've just created. And that way, if everyone got, like on average, 70% of the people got better in both cases with the sugar pill and with the, I don't know what the numbers would be, but for example, but those who got the drug, but also those who got the sugar pill, nothing in it, just sugar. Okay, so therefore the drug's not doing anything. It's just the placebo effect. So then, but if you notice, there's say a 70% improvement in those who got the drug, but only a 50% improvement in those who got the sugar pill. Okay, the drug's 20% effective. It's doing something, So that's placebo controlled. And then double blind is the people getting the pills don't know if it's real or not, but also, so they're blind to it, but also the researchers don't know, okay? Because if the researchers know, it's possible by body language that the research subjects are going to realize, I don't think this is the real thing. So to avoid that possibility, they make sure that even the researchers don't know which people are getting which the drug or the fake, So double-blind, placebo-controlled trials, and you get the results of that. And then there could be some problems in it. Maybe the selection of people was not totally fair. Maybe mostly you've got young people, but for older people it doesn't apply. It's different, whatever. So then you get, say there's 100 trials like that. A meta-analysis is where you go and someone studies all of them and looks to see if there's a pattern. And maybe they go, in this study it said there was a big difference, but actually overall, no. Like half the studies say there's a difference, half say there's no difference. So, okay, no, there's not enough evidence here. Or it's like, 99 out of 100 of the trials, or 90 out of 100 showed they had that same conclusion. So probably the 10, they had problems, but the 90, they were done properly, right? Reality's on their side. So that's a way, finding out what's real, who knows, right? So we get feedback from the physical universe. Here's the thing, the placebo effect. What's going on there? Like your body, you think you're going to get healthier, and then you actually get healthier. Your body, like, what the hell? That's pretty mystical. And here's the thing, can you put that process under your voluntary control? Because if you can, then wouldn't it be fair to call that magic? And I believe yes and yes. Like, say when I'm like getting sick and I go, the body is strong. I'm not, I hope I don't get sick. I hope I don't get sick and get coughing and be feeling bad. And no, you're going to bring those ideas up into your mind, and then through the nocebo effect, you're going to start to put that into your body by some mystical process we don't really understand. I believe the biology of belief. I should read that. But that's Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, I think. And I think he goes into that. That's book's been out for a few decades, I think. So I think he was pretty ahead of the curve with that. But talking about epigenetics and how the mind influences the body. But anyway, yeah, like if I'm thinking, the body is strong, I'm going to be good, and then almost always it goes away, unless there's some maybe deeper imbalance that needs to be worked out through the body or whatever. But and so, it's not a controlled experiment. I don't know if I was going to get better anyway, but I do know the placebo effect's a real thing. So of course it makes sense that I'm actually using that. And so if you don't believe that it's going to work, then you can get stuck in that intermediary purgatory place of like, the body is strong. Oh my God, I don't think this is really going to work, but I hope it works. But eventually you can untangle yourself from those mental knots and just be like, it's going to be good. Similar thing is I say to myself, if I can't think of something, I go, it'll come to me. I just say that. And I don't even need to believe it. I used to have doubts and stuff, but after a while of, say I do it and then I'm not really feeling it and it doesn't work. But then another time, you just keep putting in the hours or putting in the time, repetitions. Oh, it'll come to me. And then for some reason I'm like, whatever. If it doesn't come, it's just going to be like all the other times. No worries. But then I'm relaxed because I don't care. And then it comes to me. Oh, interesting. And then once that happens a few times, you start to build up faith. Like, every time that I'm not doubting it and I say it'll come to me, this thought, it does. Interesting. And then you build up belief, and then it just becomes a matter. You don't need to have faith. You just have that. Yeah, automatically you just believe it. And so it's like, it'll come to me, and I don't need to believe it. I just know it like that by saying that and by being relaxed. I'm maximizing the chances of it coming. I'm increasing the chances of it coming back to me. And I don't know if it will or not, but I just assume it will, and I don't care about whether that's going to be wrong later or not. And basically almost 100% of the time it does come to me, So I think that's also like magic, basically. All right. Let's see, what else? Let's have a sip of coffee. Blowing the mind. Well, what about this? The universe is expanding, right? Similar to the Big Bang thing. The universe is expanding. Oh my God. Urban sprawl of the universe. Cosmic sprawl into the beautiful, pristine wilderness of... Wait a minute. What's the universe expanding into? Oh, the metaverse. The multiverse. Yeah, whatever. Multiverse, metaverse. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, it's interesting. I thought the universe was everything. Well, that's one way to think of it. Yeah. Okay, so then the multi or metaverse, is that expanding? Well, yes, of course, because all the universes are expanding, and the multiverse is just made of different universes. Okay, then all right, that's basically like dimensions then within a universe, or universes within a multiverse. Okay, so where is the multiverse / metaverse / expanding into? What is outside it? Great question. I'm glad you asked that, but we don't have time today. We're going to have to take a quick break to celebrate our sponsors, the fear of ignorance. And yeah, so seems to me that the universe is one. I don't know exactly how this works, obviously, but it's one. There's only one thing, Look at everything we know, based upon what we know. You zoom in on everything, and it's these atoms. They're separate, but then you zoom in on them, and there's subatomic particles. Protons, neutrons, electrons, and then like quarks and stuff like that. Smaller, even tinier and teenier pieces, and 99% of it's just empty space. And then you zoom in on the little 1% that is solid, apparently, and as our technology improves, we are able to zoom in on them, and it turns out 99% of them are empty space. And so you keep going in and in and in, and eventually, I believe, I don't know, the physics is incredibly complicated. But from what I can tell, it seems like the consensus, or like the mainstream idea of physics at this point, would be that the universe is energy. It's like a sea of energy. And it seems to me I don't see... Yeah, that seems, basically, let's just say that's, take that for granted there. So if everything is one, and that seems to be the case, right? That it's just energy and vibration, like a big ocean of different vibrations. And as things vibrate at different frequencies, they take on the properties that human consciousness interprets as, different substances. And like, you've got a wood, or you've got plastic, or you've got, solid, liquid, and gas, and you've got hard or bendy, or, squishy, or moist, or dry, or there's all these things, but ultimately They're the same substance, the same essence, vibrating at different frequencies. Or you could say, at the same time, they've got a different structure. Or you zoom in on the structure with a microscope, you can see metal has this crystalline structure, or I think, or a kind of grid-like structure, and different things have different interior structures, but that's generating a different vibration. And I believe they have different natural vibrating frequencies. So this is things naturally will vibrate at different frequencies. So they have these different frequencies, and if you get a vibration in alignment with that, it'll boost the amplitude. So everything's made of vibration, it seems. And it's just all one. It's just this, we can interpret it as separate things, but ultimately it's all just this one thing. So, all right, the universe, and then in your own experience, like, if you take a firecracker and you sit there and you say to yourself, be still and know that I am God, then you go, well, everything's one. And it seems if everything is one, the whole reality, then it seems that that's like infinity. There's nothing outside of existence. There's nothing outside of the universe. It just is the universe. So what's the universe expanding into? Nothing. It's expanding into itself. It's like just going within. Like you go within when you meditate. Seems like reality is expanding inwards. It's like a virtual reality experience, like a dream, I went through my dream and I explored the neighborhood, right? I went over the hills and I went overseas and I went exploring. Where did that happen? Inside you, inside your mind, inside your consciousness. So perhaps that's what's going on. The universe, or God, if you prefer, the conscious cosmos, which is you, it seems, more or less, or you're an aspect of it, but ultimately you're not separate from it. Let's put it that way. The soul is not separate from it. Your body, or hey, I'm Tom Johnson. Okay, the universe is not Tom Johnson, but the soul that perceives itself as Tom Johnson is actually the universe experiencing itself from the inside out, from every possible angle, every sentient structure arising out of the formless essence that is consciousness, infinite energy. And you could say it's infinite, but if it's one, it's all one thing, then you could just kind of say, is it infinite, or is it's just what it is? It's just itself. It's just one thing, You could equally say it's, infinitely small compared to some hypothetical other object, or where does a circle begin and end? Everywhere and nowhere. So the universe is expanding. Well, it certainly seems to be expanding from our point of view. The measure, like stars moving away from each other, or this kind of thing, or light moving away. But what caused the Big Bang to begin on a Tuesday? What is the universe expanding into? How can you reconcile expansion at all, or the beginning of the universe at all, or the end of the universe at all, with the fact that reality itself is, if it exists at all, it must always be here. Where could it go? It's like the fact that anything exists at all, that we know we're here. Here we are. Even if this is some sort of dream or illusion, the fact that we are aware, like, let's presume for a moment that's true. Well, no, let's just say hypothetical. If this was an illusion, the fact that we were aware of the illusion, no, we'll give the devil his due. Let's say if this is an illusion, even if this is an illusion, this experience, it's a dream, it's not real, it just feels real. The fact to come to that point of view, to make that conclusion that no, it's an illusion, that requires you to be aware that it's an illusion. Something must have deduced logically, oh, A plus B equals C. This is not real. What, do you think that happens automatically? Like, oh, A plus B equals, this is an illusion. Like, that just happens automatically, huh? Like, are you out of your mind? Like, that makes no sense. Like, the fact that we are conscious of, oh, I think this is an illusion, that must mean there's something which is not an illusion, which is a real experiencer who is experiencing what they believe is an illusion. And I believe that shows that actually, upon further thought, it's not an illusion. it might be an illusion to some extent, but it's within an ultimate reality. Otherwise, nothing would be experienced. So we are here. We know we're here. We know we exist. Exactly how much of this is real, or what does it look like to some alien with 17 million eyeballs that comes along and it's the size of Saturn? It's like, hey guys, I'm a Glonkaboth. Glonkaboth. Oh my God, I didn't even know Glonkaboth existed. It's this huge alien with 17 billion eyeballs or whatever. It's going to see our solar system and this planet next to me and my head and the microphone and your beautiful face differently than we see it, right? Presumably. We don't know. Okay, but there's some sort of reality which is being perceived. We know that because we're here. Now, so the fact that anything exists at all means that being must exist. It had to exist. There's no alternative. The fact that we are here experiencing existence means that existence was not optional. It was necessary. There was no alternative. Because think about it. Let's say, as a thought experiment, there's some parallel universe where the Big Bang never got going that fine Tuesday long ago, and nothing exists. There would still be, in that universe that we're thinking about, there would be a parallel universe where Jamie McGlue is trying to blow your mind talking about all this. You couldn't expunge that because we know this exists. So if we have a hypothetical parallel universe, let's give it full reality. Yeah, okay, there's that parallel universe where nothing ever existed. It would still need to require the fact that we are here. We would be a parallel universe to them, right? It could have gone that way. So, and then that is some existence. That parallel universe where nothing exists would still contain the possibility of existence. So that at least would exist. So you can't get rid of existence. If it exists at all, it has to fundamentally be unavoidable. That existence, or the possibility thereof, existence of something, even the existence of a possibility, of a potential, that's an existence. That's something. That's huge. That's everything. So reality is, think about that, like the universe was always going to exist. There was no alternative. That's pretty comforting, reassuring. I like that. That feels good. That feels like eternity. That feels like immortality. It feels like home and love. And yeah. So the universe was always going to exist. And then even if, the inevitable heat death of the universe, yeah, well, I mean, okay. Sooner or later, a suitable Tuesday is going to come along, and boom, why don't we have another, And the fact that the whole universe, we know we are conscious, and we know we're here. Consciousness is present. And we also know that the universe is one. There's only one thing. If there were two things, what would the gap in between be? More universe, right? It's stuff, it's reality, it's something. So the universe is one. It's all, and then even that's kind of like a priori thinking about it, but even epistemologically, or if you look into it kind of through just more direct evidence, we zoom in on things, we keep finding the boundaries don't exist. It's all just the same soup of energy. So we know consciousness exists, that's one. We know that the universe is one, okay? So that's two. That's the second thing. So therefore, QED, the universe is consciousness, right? There's one thing, and consciousness is present. Therefore, everything is consciousness. And that's one way. But you could be like, oh no, but it's an emergent property. But I think when you still your mind, when you can stop thinking and you can just be present, you can do that, like read The Power of Now if you really want to have a very practical look at how to do that. But basically, when you can learn how to do that, you can still think and use conceptual awareness and understanding. That's all really amazing, but it's balanced. You have the sanity because it's grounded to the raw data of open eyes. Like you're able to see without thinking. You're able to take in information without thinking. You be aware, be present, connect energetically to the flow of reality without thinking, and then you can turn that into just like the raw materials that the farmer can then sow wisely and turn into the fruits of his labor. And so we have the universe is consciousness. And you can find that through thinking, oh, it's one and its consciousness is here, but also just by when you're outside of thinking, you can just observe it and you kind of intuitively understand, oh, everything is consciousness. Here's my body and there's the plant, but ultimately it's like, I could say Jamie's looking at the plant, or the plant's looking at Jamie, or the plant's looking at Jamie, look at the plant, look at Jamie, look at the plant, you know? It's just energy is flowing and consciousness is everywhere. It seems to be that's what's going on. There we have that, right? The universe is consciousness. So then, apart from the fact that, you know, the universe always had to exist, consciousness always had to exist. That's another way of saying it. And even if there's the inevitable heat death of the universe, there's going to be consciousness. And that consciousness is going to create some sort of, you know, more embodied reality again, sooner or later, presumably, given that that's what's already happened. So is your mind blown yet? All right, let's go like one more little detail here. So, you know, and naturally there are two details within the one, polarity within unity. So you can think, all right, it's two people, they have a good chemistry, you know, they're looking into each other's eyes, and somewhere on a distant hilltop, some man begins to sing, Dream Weaver, or however that song goes. And these couple, they're looking to each other's eyes and they fall in love, okay? And then they do certain things. I won't give you the details, but basically thousands or millions of sperm end up charging like the Rohirrim valiantly through the valleys of well, the valleys of the, yeah, okay, let's, you know, you can finish the sentence there. And so, and these millions of sperm, you know, let's say, okay, the day before, this guy had, you know, had sent the Rohirrim on a suicide mission, okay, into a, let's say, again, I'm trying to keep this clean with it. It's probably not very possible, but has, you know, sent millions of sperm somewhere other direction. Okay. And so then, you know, his body, the testicles, you know, they create more sperm, right? And then this fine day, two people, the feel and the love, and then way leads to way, and we have millions of sperm charging towards the egg. And so and then of them, only one ends up reaching the egg, or maybe none of them do, okay? But let's say it's a lucky day and one of them gets to the egg and, oh, she's pregnant. And then that turns into a person, and it turns into you or me or whoever, a human being. Think about how unlikely it is that that sperm would reach the egg to create exactly you with your body and your brain and your personality to the extent that it's influenced by that body, that your soul's consciousness is being filtered through the lens of this body, and with its capacities and limitations and tendencies and all that. So, you know, it's just so happened that you weren't, the sperm that created you wasn't one of the million that was wasted upon a tissue or a condom the day before, right? Or just didn't get to the egg for whatever reason, or there was no egg there. False alarm. Oh, it happened to be stars aligning. Okay, and then of all the million or whatever sperm, it happened to be the one that gets to the egg is you, right? And then here we are. So that's the first point here. It's like how incredibly unlikely it is that you should be here. It's like, or that I should be here at all. Like, that's kind of mind blowing, right? Like, whoa, like that was close. I almost got killed. Like, it's extremely unlikely that I was going to be here. That's step one. And then step two is to go the exact opposite direction and go, actually, it was certain that it was going to be you. Your body is extremely, I guess maybe it was fate that was going to happen, destiny. But if it was random chance, then yeah, your body could look totally different very easily, or one of the other sperm could have come and created, mixed with the egg to create you. But be that as it may, your soul, who you really are, the consciousness, is just the universe. There is only one person, there is only one subject who is capable of experience, and it is you. It is me. It is us. It is consciousness. It is the universe. It is the plant. It is everyone. It is anyone who ever exists can only do so because it is the same cosmic actor with a capital A. The Leonardo DiCaprio of the universe is God, and God plays all the characters. Or you could say consciousness plays all the characters. And, imagine a movie where it's the same character, like, Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap is like playing both the twins. And then, so like that, to take that, to the nth degree, like, just the same actor playing all the people in a drama. Oh, that seems familiar. I look into people's eyes, almost seems like familiar, almost like I know, could be a stranger. I look in their eyes, almost seems like I know them, And I guess there's levels of familiarity where like you've had more experience with someone, or maybe you've met them in a past life, who knows, and there's a resonance there, and a remembering. But then I think deep down, it's like it seems like we're all the universe. So then that's the thing, like, oh, actually it couldn't have been anyone else. It had to be you, because there's no other candidates. You're the only one who can do the job. And on that note, I hope your mind is thoroughly blown to bits. And see you next week. And thank God that on that distant Tuesday, many moons ago, reality decided to come into existence by accident, unintentionally, unintelligently, without any purpose, just because. Amen.